Hey, it's Friday, the end of the week, December, I don't know, some number 8, an advanced class-ish. See, from there, we still have no more winter dance. Book report is due in 4 days. If you're turning in your book report early and you're not here, then you're not turning your book report in early, because that's called physics. You can't be in 2 places at once unless you have a TARDIS. And then Toys for Tots, if you're wanting to bring stuff in, then make sure that you give that to me so I can hook you with points. Tie game was reindeer. Then, quick timeout. Reading Shadow Club with my regular kids, I came across a line in it that I hadn't paid attention to before, but I think it's one that will connect to my advanced class. So I'm going to read it to you real quick and see if you can figure out why I think this particular line connects for y'all's. Hang on. Because it's a story that you guys read that my regular kids did not, so it was wasted on them. But I think it's going to pick back up with you guys. And it's about a kid who's going and like sneaking and looking into this window, and he sees these old people in there. Let's see. He looks in the window, sees this old couple on the couch, and he goes, "They're dead," said a voice in my head. Oh. That sounded a bit like Ralphie Sherman. "They're dead, and they've been stuffed." Yeah. And so then it goes on from there, and it goes, "Just then the woman mumbled something about how many commercials were on the tube nowadays. So much for them being stuffed." And it just keeps going on. I was like, "Oh my God!" And I got all excited when I was reading. I was like, "Don't you get..." No, you guys don't understand it. They're like, "What's going on with you?" I'm like, "Nothing. Learning and it's wasted on you children." But yeah, I thought you guys would make the connection on that one, because I never paid attention to it. So.
Yeah, that's exactly how you spell tie.
I already pointed that out.
What? I never
Very
the checkpointy places, we're going to talk about 5 and 6 here in just a moment, all the wonderful things that happen in there. And then chapter 8 should be Sunday-ish. And then chapter 10 by next Friday. And then chapter 12 by the following Monday. If you get done, go you. We're going to talk about things from there. Blah, blah. Did the fountain park, did the stabbing, killed a kid the other day. That was great. There we talked about... Oh, once again, why does Johnny stab Bob? Revenge, not self-defense. Ooh, at what point does Pony Boy break the law?
When he
chooses to run away with him and not turn in his friend, because that's why you have to turn in your friends when they make poor choices. You have to rat them out so you don't go to jail. And then the blue jeans jacket, we have that. Now that we've finished chapter 5, 5 to 6, you find out why the blue jeans jacket plays such a big role, because it ends up kind of like saving his life a little bit, and we can get to that part too. So that's why I wanted to make sure you were aware of what a blue jeans jacket was. And then, you're not on page 68 for the talky stuff. Now we're at the abandoned church, which is in Windrorsville. It's on top of the church. And then when they're hanging out there, what is it that Johnny goes and gets so they can hide their appearance?
Supplies.
Oh, they get that
stuff.
Well, one, it is interesting to hear how you guys think they're going to hide their appearance with baloney and cards. They're not going to like stick it to their head and be like, "It's going to be a disguise." That's not how disguises work. Y'all special. Yeah. The knife, and what was the last time this knife was used for? Stab. And then they use the hydrogen peroxide. Oh yeah, the Gone for Wind. And that's when you go through, they did the reading of it. We'll talk more about that here in a moment. The fact they get into that argument about who's the most brave. Because they're like, "I think Dally's the best." He's like, "Why would Dally be the best?" And that was the whole idea that Johnny sort of thinks Dally's the greatest person in the world because, you know, you get together with your friends and you beat up little children. That makes you a hero. That's why I have issues. And so we get to the hydrogen peroxide. And what does hydrogen peroxide do to your hair? And that's which character gets the bleach? The hydrogen peroxide? Why does Johnny not? He's got the darker skin, so it doesn't work out for him nearly as well. And they do the whole choppy of the hair thing. And then they hang out. And then what do they do for fun while they're hanging out there? Read. Play poker. Smoke cigarettes until they get sick. And then what do they eat? Bologna. And this is where some of you freaked out about the spelling of bologna, and you're like, "Is that the real spelling of bologna?" It is not the real spelling of bologna, but that's how they spell it in the book. The real spelling of bologna, B-A-L-O-G-N-A, just because it's an actual country.
Yeah, it's Bologna.
Yeah, kids apparently had trouble saying that, so they renamed it and made a whole new word spelled B-A-L-O-N-E-Y, because apparently kids be dumb. And so that's why they spelled it in there. But that's not the actual. Well, why are kids dumb? I don't know. Look around. And so that's why it's spelled bologna in there. And then, while they're hanging out, who shows up?
Dally.
Because Dal is the one who knows where they are, so he shows up and he's like, hey, it's all good, rescue time. And they go out to go eat. Where is it they go to go eat?
Dairy Queen.
They go to Dairy Queen. I go to Dairy Queen. I used to have kids. It's like it's about me. And so you got to have the little bonding connection moment where they go out to Dairy Queen, and then they have the was it the Dally has with the gun? Is he with them? No.
No, they don't have the gun with them.
That's right,
Just
because
the heater. Dolly has a heater.
Yeah, because the little kid comes up to and looks in the window and is like, hey, can I have a dime or something like that.
That never happened.
It did too.
No, it didn't.
No.
The kid walked. I did not just make up a random thing.
Yeah, you
They
did.
leave
I
the gun in
think
the
you
church
did.
because then they hear gunfire
They-
when the
Yeah.
it's burning.
Did not leave a gun in the church.
Yeah,
Yes,
they
they did. That's what
They
made it
literally heard the
blow up.
gunfire. They literally
Calm.
Yeah, because
Word.
remember
Next
the
they
kids
came
when it
back
died.
and
boom,
it was on
boom.
fire.
And then they said
They
kids
don't have
before it
any
went boom, boom.
They said it sounded like bombs going off.
I know that.
I didn't react.
So then, little kid.
Yeah, you're just like crazy. You're too old.
Well, I mean, I'm not disagreeing with that part, but I could have sworn a little kid came running up. I
Mr.
might have
Brovicast,
hallucinated that part.
Can I please wait?
Is it proving that I'm wrong?
Yeah.
Ouch. Okay.
Okay, it says, just fine, a little frightened maybe. There were some short explosions right after you all got out. Sudden, just like, exactly like gunfire. Gunfire, there went our gun, and Gone with the Wind. So they left Gone with the Wind and the gun. Yeah, because remember they were going to go back and get the money and the gun and give it to
I
Dad.
am more
so they
upset about the
throw
book
themselves
burning.
in.
That does sound kind of awful.
Oh, she was
The
totally
Dubs.
not.
Gone with the Wind is now ashes, therefore it is gone
With
the
the
wind.
wow, that's
Yeah.
painful but well played. All right, so apparently sometimes people make mistakes, and so the gun was in the church, and you're jumping ahead of the whole burning of the church thing, and then we thought, ooh, I forgot this part, not that part. This part. That was the part that I wanted to get to, not the handsome man. With the poem that pops up when they go and look out in the little thing, and he just randomly starts spouting off with the whole sunrise poem, it's going to play a big role in our story coming up too. Where it says, nature's first green is gold, her heart is hue to hold, her early leaf's a flower, but only so an hour. The leaf subsides to leaf, so Eden sank to grief, so dawn goes down to day, nothing gold can stay. It is both an incredibly uplifting poem and an incredibly depressing poem at the same time. Which is why people really like it, because it's one of those, oh, poems are so powerful. Because what it says on the surface, when you look at it, is incredibly depressing. But then when you look deeper into it, it's supposed to make you feel much more uplifting. You seem so strong a moment, Twitch, and then...
Well, then I realized that well, I'll say it, but I'm pretty sure that the book already made this connection
Let's
or
find
something.
out. Twitch way. No, okay. You seem...
They made that connection in the book.
Try
Is
later.
it that everything good's gonna go away in your life, but it's okay because you had the good moments to start with?
And there you go. So the idea is goes, nature's first green is gold, so you start off that it starts off everything is beautiful, but it's really hard for nature to keep that green shininess out there because it eventually dies. Her early leaf is a flower, but then flowers die. The leaf subsides to the leaf. Oh, when it says, so Eden sank to grief, what's Eden referring to? Garden of Evil, not the Garden of Evil, that's where I was born. The Garden of Eden, with the Adam and Eve and stuff like that. In fact, it starts off this wonderful place, and the snake shows up, and it goes down into horrible things. So dawn goes down today, waking up in the morning, everything's in front of you, then you have to get to school and deal with teachers, and things go down. Nothing gold can stay. Gold is a metaphor for
Light, happiness.
happiness. And the fact that nothing you like will survive. Everything you love will die. That's what the poem's trying to get across. Now, yeah, Mr. Brovicast, you covered the depressing part. Where's the happy bit? Where is the happy bit? If it's telling you that everything you love is going to die,
At least you love somebody.
that could be part of it. The dub?
Well, like, it all dies, but then it's like, comes back when because flowers die and then they grow.
Yeah.
And Eden, because Eden came back?
I mean,
Oh.
some beliefs
To
might
some-
think so.
To some extent, yes.
Sure, like this class. Thank you, I appreciate that. That was a good reference. And I was comparing my class to Eden, a place of happiness and goodness and
snakes.
one evil thing. Well done. Try Lakem.
Poem we read, there's a poem that we read about like this guy who got really smart. I forget what it's called.
It was a
Flower.
Flower Shroud song. That was a story.
Oh, yeah.
The story said.
Yeah.
And he was happy, but he was like ignorant, like in a way. So in a way, if you're happy, you're not really exposed to everything in life. So
So the joy of being dumb.
Sure.
If you look at that, I mean, it's the idea. I can definitely see
Live a
something like
simple
that.
life.
In a simple life. And it's trying the idea of also enjoy it while you have it. So the idea that everything you love is going to die, but while you have it, enjoy it. While you're a kid, enjoy being a kid, because you don't get to be a kid forever. Eventually you're going to have to, go to high school where you have to do homework every day. Eventually you become an adult where you have to worry about taxes and children. Eventually you get old and grumpy, because apparently they go hand in hand. So enjoy it while you have it. So given everything you love will disappear, but while you have it, enjoy it. So it's the whole idea of enjoy it while you have it. That's going to play a big role later on in the book about the idea of while you have these things, enjoy them. I mean, you may hate my class now, but someday you'll have to move on. So enjoy it while you have it. Now given, once you move on, you'll have like that couple years of celebrating, but then eventually you'll start missing it. Like when you're like 80, 85. And then we have the gang up there, and they go back, and they're at the church. While they're hanging out at Dairy Queen, what big decision does Johnny decide to make?
Turn yourself in.
Why is he going to turn himself in?
Because he doesn't want Ponyboy like
He's
Dairy.
worried about Ponyboy. He's like, listen, and how does Dally feel about this choice?
He's like, what?
He doesn't know.
He does not support it, because he's like, last back up. Why does Dally not support this choice? What is his worry about him as we go into it? Zoe?
Well, he knows that like the first time he went to jail, like then he got like all like tough and stuff. He doesn't want that to happen to Johnny.
And he's like, you're such an adorable little puppy. You don't want to go there because it's going to turn you from adorable puppy to like the horrible,
It's like
raging
sending a star
mean
to
dog.
jail.
Dally.
Yeah, it's like sending a star to jail. I like that. Solid reference. Wasted on a star, not paying attention. Twitch!
So isn't Dally also afraid that Ponyboy is gonna get sent to that orphanage thing? Or does he
A
not?
bit, but I
or
don't
does
think
he
that's
not really know
nearly as
about
much.
that?
I think Dally, his big concern is for. I think Johnny really only cares about Dally because that's his hero, and for Dally, Johnny's the only thing that he kind of cares about because it's like this is that one nice thing in his life. And so I think for him, I mean, I'm sure on some level that's there, but I think for Dally it's mostly Johnny. And he knows, he's like, when I went to jail, it broke me. And he's like, I don't want to see that happen to you. And Johnny's like, listen, I did a thing. It was me. I made this choice. And he's like, I can't bring my friends down with me. He's like, I can't live with myself. Zoe.
Is that why you're so mean? Because you went to prison?
I didn't go to
You got arrested.
Congratulations. I couldn't imagine how much meaner I would be if I went to prison.
Did it break you?
It didn't.
Orange is the new
Ruby is the new black, yes.
So my dad, he's 6'7", and
Yes.
he's very scary looking. Ask Lily.
I've seen him.
And so he jokes with everybody that comes over to my house that he went to prison and his prison name was Bloodbath.
I like that. He's a very. He also likes Star Wars. He's a very lovely man. So heading back after we.
Have you ever met Mr.
Those are the
Hammond?
stories I
You
tell you
can
at the
get
end.
along with Mr. Hammond.
We can be
Just raging
different.
me, Gavin?
Yeah.
Why are we raging?
The elbows big.
I was raging because we wanted that one. That's a long ways away.
Wait,
It
just
is.
But no, I have another
Never.
thing.
Besides just raging.
Yeah.
Okay, focus.
If you were in prison, could you still be a teacher?
Yes.
What?
That's
dangerous.
That explains a lot.
A background check, and it depends on why you went to prison. If I went to prison for like just going around like throwing babies against walls, yeah, that one they'd probably frown on. My goodness, I didn't get arrested for that. I got away with that one. It depends on Lord. My goodness. We have a star here who has no idea how teaching works. You completely blow your mind. All they did last year, they covered this book, was like, let's all hug each other now because a kid died. This whole next week is hug time. That's how stars teach. They just spend the whole time crying and hugging.
Yeah, he
Where's
stabbed me.
bad memories from last year with all the hugging.
Yesterday, they finished the book and they just had they all sat in the dark
And just
with
cried.
candles.
They did kumbaya for like 3 days.
Wait, they did?
We teach
they did the glow
differently.
stick
The
thing.
prison does. That's what going.
I'm
What
Other
life does
persons, and they would grab and say, I will.
8th graders.
He just said he sat in peace and just ate gum.
See, there you go. Stars. Anyway, we're back to not done killing kids yet. So we're at Dairy Queen. And he decides to turn himself back in, but they have to go back to the church. And when they go back to the church, what do we find out's going on at the church? So we find out, that's right, it's lit. And so we find out, that's a great.
I might have been to that party.
So they find out that the church is on fire. One of my favorite parts of the book, I gotta read that to you real quick. When they go back there and they find out the church is on fire, hang on, church. That is good too. No.
Wasn't it for like a field trip?
It was a field trip.
Oh wow.
Hey, you know how like
So at the junior someone could actually die.
Okay. Page 91 is where I want to take a look at. This is when they go back to the church, they see it's on fire, and they're like, oh no, what's going on with this whole church thing? And they find out there's a whole, not only is the church on fire, but on top of that, who's at the church?
Children.
Which, not my favorite part, but should be right up there. What school, for their field trip, goes, hey kids, let's go to an abandoned church. And that's where they go for their field trip.
She were on a not to go. She
Still.
told
They were gonna watch on the hill.
No, but they were still there.
Still,
Going to the hill. That's true.
there's still not like a school there, so it had to be a field trip to go for a picnic at an abandoned church.
We go to an abandoned house for a field
But
trip.
still, there you go. So they show up at the church. It says, I bet we started it, I said to Johnny. We must have dropped a lighted cigarette or something. About that time, a lady came running up. Now we get to my favorite part. Jerry, some of the kids are missing. They're probably around here somewhere. You can't tell with all this excitement where they might be. Seriously! Church is burning. The lady's like, kids are missing, and Jerry's just like, I got the good ones. That's like it. I'm like, you can't do that. But yeah, Jerry's my favorite.
Wait, what page is it on?
Page 91.
Wait, Jerry Jr. is
And she
fine,
goes,
so.
no! They've been missing for at least half an hour. I thought, once again, great job taking care of these kids. Like, for 30 minutes they've been missing. She just now tells another adult. Apparently the fire's been going on for a while. She's like, oh yeah, them kids been missing. You might want to look them up. I was like, oh, I love this book. And we killed a kid earlier. It just keeps getting better. We're going to burn some alive. And then we all finally froze. Faintly, just faintly, you could hear someone yelling. And it sounded like it was coming from inside the church. So what is it that Ponyboy and Johnny decide to do?
Let's go save it.
Now I get to another one of my favorite parts because they go running inside to save all the little kids that are in there. When they go running in to save all the kids, why does Jerry not follow them?
He's too fast.
He's too fast.
And this is where, in my imagination, for those of you who've seen Winnie the Pooh, I imagine Pooh, right, when he tries to go through the little hole to get into like Owl's house, his little feet are like sitting there kicking.
Yeah,
That's what I imagine was like Jerry's like, I'm coming, like, now given, I don't think that's what happened, but when I was reading it,
Rabbit's house.
and I just got so excited about the thought of kids dying, I just saw that part, and I just started getting all giggly and happy. But then they start saving kids. Next favorite part, how is it they save the children?
They throw them out the window.
Throwing them out windows. I was so excited. I would save children on a daily basis if it involved just chucking them out a window.
One bites him.
Yes! They're just like, I'm gonna save you! I'm gonna save you! And just chucking kids out windows.
We try to make them land as softly as possible.
Whatever, that's someone else's issue.
At least they don't completely die. They save them. They save them.
I'm gonna save you. Don't save me.
And now once again, that's where my imagination kicked in, because trying to save him, the one that bites him, and then once again I imagine like a little piranha in the cartoons, and he's like shaking it, and the kid's like, shaking the kid. That's where my imagination kicked in, and I got all excited. And then of course you have to save the kids. Then you throw it out. Then it gets sad again because emotions. What happens to the church after that?
It
It collapses.
When it collapses, Ponyboy manages to get out, but his
himself out a window.
gets himself. I'm gonna save myself. And then he jumps out a window, but his back is on fire. And this is where Dally saves him. Another fun part. How is it that Dally saves him? Punches him in the back. You're on fire! And he's like, and then drops him down to the ground, and then puts out the fire. Stop, drop, and roll. If they don't stop, drop, and roll, you drop them. Which is what Dally does, because Dally's always safety first. Then, of course, poor Johnny doesn't make it out as easily, because what falls on Johnny?
Ceiling.
And that's what they talk about when the beams fell on him. And so that's what the beams are, and that's why Johnny's not able to get out. And so the beam falls onto Johnny, and we have all the sadness. But Johnny's not dead. Yay! So with Johnny not being dead, now the bad news is, it's one of those good news, bad news things. Like you jump out of an airplane, they're like, yay! But like, oh, your parachute doesn't open. You're like, no! And you're like, but you're gonna land on a hay pile. Like, yay! Like, but there's a needle, and they're like, no! And so it's that same thing with poor Johnny. Like, hey! You're burned over most of your body and gonna be in incredible pain. He's like, no, it's okay, because you're also paralyzed. You can't feel anything. He's like, yay, I raise my arms, but I can't. And so we have the fact that he's paralyzed, but because the thing fell on him, at the same time, burned over most of his body. Honk.
I wanted to
I
add
know, we went on a little roller
something.
coaster of emotion
Yeah.
there.
So when they were throwing the kids out the window, Pony Boy looked over at Johnny, and Johnny looked like he was having the time of his life.
Right? Brothers.
And they also told the kid to shut up, we're coming to get you.
See, once again, I would save kids on a daily basis. It involved me telling kids to shut your face, and I throw them out a window. I would be known as the savior. Savior of children. Then we find out they go to the hospital, and then they're worried about the family being. They're worried about the family being separated when they get there. In the hospital, what do you call the ambulance? I was going to say the hospital van. Ambulance. Words. They should write that on the vehicle to make it easier to remember. Hospital van. That's when Pony Boy then starts smoking, and Jerry, who all of a sudden like, I'm going to try and be a responsible adult. And Jerry's like, you shouldn't be smoking. To which Pony Boy's like, there's not a sign, so I can smoke. And he's like, that's not the reason why you shouldn't be smoking. It just made me smile, the fact that for Pony Boy, smoking is such a part of his life, he doesn't even see the difference. They get there, and in chapter 6 is when they do run into, don't make sure I'm not going too far ahead, runs into, Derry shows up again, and they all show up again. And how do you... No.
Derry starts crying.
And that's where you find out once again, told you that Derry was not a horrible person with the whole slapping of Pony Boy. It was just the whole being dealing with teenagers in general. But being 20 years old yourself, double it. And so that's when he was having a bit of a tough time with all that. So now they're back together, and everything is great, and nothing but happiness from here on into the end of the book.
Except for the fact that that sunrise poem said that everything was going to die.
What?
Yeah, and you hinted at, you foreshadowed that everyone's going to die, and the stars were crying.
Yay, dying.
So there's a reason. I bet you Pony
If
Boy
it
doesn't
helps,
die because she's the one reading.
When stars read this book, this is where they stop. And they just take the last half of the book and just go, and just rip it off and throw it away. Because when we stop here, nothing but sunshine and rainbows. This is the stars finish.
They stay children.